Hello and welcome to the Prosperous Musician. It's Friday and that means it is time for what's going on in the music business this week. Yes, that's right, it's time for another news hack with me, Spence, on the Prosperous Musician. So it is the week ending January the 8th and my gosh, it just keeps getting better or worse depending on what your propensity for drama is. This week has been huge, not just in music, but really everywhere, hasn't it? With everything kicking off in the White House, people storming Capitol Hill, and it was, for those sharp-eyed amongst you there, the guy who had the horn hat on and everything is being likened to jazz pop artist Jamiroquai, or jazz funk I should say. He actually came on and said, came on Twitter and said, look, you know, it's nothing to do with me, these aren't my kind of people, which was a nice little retort from him. I wonder what Jamiroquai is doing now, apart from getting lookalikes to storm Capitol Hill. Anyway, that's how it started this week. That was midweek, but it's been a massive week in terms of music publishing, and the behemoth of music publishing, which seems to be at the moment Hipgnosis, has made the headlines yet again, because they're opening their massive checkbook once more to secure one of the most prized music catalogues in the history of popular music. Now, a while ago, Universal Music paid a reported between $300 and $4 million for Bob Dylan's entire catalogue of about 600 songs. Now, this deal by Hipgnosis, who is led by Mercuriadis, I have to keep remembering his name, it's a hard one to pronounce, I don't know if that is Greek. Anyway, he's the head of the company, and he's a massive Neil Young fan, which has probably led to the deal. Anyway, Neil's gone for 50% of his back catalogue, which is around 1,180. 1,180 compositions, so they've gone for half of that. So it's confirmed that the deal includes 50% of the publisher's share and 50% of the writer's share in Young's music, spanning his work with Buffalo Springfield, Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young, of course, and Crazy Horse. And addition, obviously, his own full singer-songwriter back catalogue. So they reckon the deal would have cost around 150 million, which is not bad for a day's work, eh? Which makes sense when you compare it to Bob Dylan's between 300 and 400 million for his entire catalogue. So massive deal there going on. And I really hope that goes well for those guys. Mercuriadis says, Neil Young's songs are a part of who I am. They are in many ways responsible for who I've become, and they're most certainly in my DNA. So it sounds like a big fan there. And I really hope that they, really treat, it sounds like they're going to really treat his songs with a lot of love and respect, which they deserve. And it certainly is a bit of a, and I wonder what happens after the gold rush of them buying up all his songs. We shall see. And it was said a while ago that Neil Young is one of many artists who has been approached to have his songs associated with different products. And of course, when he was in control of his catalogue, then he could decide. But now he's not. He's not in control of half of it. We wonder what products his songs will be accompanying. Now, he did say when he was in charge of his own catalogue that it sounded like a burger company came in and wanted to use his songs. He said he would have to change one of the lyrics to burger of gold or something like that. So it could be Burger King, could be McDonald's. Anyway, well, let's see if those kind of deals happen now. He's released half of his catalogue for a massive 150 million quid, and that's not a bad deal. And he's obviously a guy, he's no spring chicken anymore, is Neil, so that money will, it'd be nice to have that in the bank for him, wouldn't it? So, so that's going on with Hipgnosis. They're also in the news again, because they're not done. They're not done by a long way, buying up catalogues. And it's really interesting how a lot of artists are selling up now, aren't they? Maybe following Bob Dylan's lead there. And they haven't done by a long way. So not content with getting half of Neil Young's back catalogue, they have done a deal with Lindsey Buckingham, who was one of the big major talents in Fleetwood Mac. He was one of the main songwriters in Fleetwood Mac, along with Stevie Nicks, who we'll come to in a minute. So the songs that he wrote or co-wrote include Go Your Own Way, and of course the massive song that everyone knows Fleetwood Mac for was The Chain. Hipgnosis previously acquired a 25% stake in Buckingham's song catalogue via its buyout of Cobalt, which they did for $323 million in September, announced in November. So, as part of its new agreement with Buckingham, announced on the 5th of January, Hipgnosis also acquires a 50% share of any unreleased composition. So that's someone like Buckingham. He's still got a few miles on the clock left to go, and so anything that he releases subsequently, half of that will go to straight to Hipgnosis. So today's news, or on the 5th, that news means the majority of the publishing rights for the song, penned by two of Fleetwood Mac's biggest songwriters, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, are now owned by modern, highly acquisitive rights management firms. And we'll talk about that in a minute, what happened with Stevie Nicks, which is very interesting actually when you get into the details of it. Mercurius, founder of Hipgnosis Songs for Unlimited, goes on to say, Lindsey Buckingham is one of the greatest guitarists, songwriters and producers of all time, yet is still so underrated. I agree. His work with Fleetwood Mac has brought the world unparalleled joy over the last 45 years, and he belongs in any discussion featuring Brian Wilson and Paul McCartney. It's wonderful to welcome him and his iconic songs, both as a solo artist and with Fleetwood Mac, to the Hipgnosis family. So they've got quite a big catalogue now out of Hipgnosis, and it's very interesting because their biggest rival in the publishing world is Primary Wave, which is one of their big rivals, and they actually secured 80% of Stevie Nicks' publishing rights. So with Lindsey Buckingham has gone with Hipgnosis, and I guess Stevie Nicks has gone her own way with going with Primary Wave. And I wish them best of both of luck, and I'm sure they'll be quite happy with that deal. Also talking about Primary Wave Publishing, they have also been on a bit of a spending spree as well. They've accomplished a deal. They've made a deal and acquired the songs of. Recently, they recorded the songs of Leo Sayer, which had a big back catalogue. He's got a great back catalogue there, and the master recordings. And a week before that, they acquired the publishing catalogue of Stevie Nicks, who we've just talked about. Now, this week, they've Dan Wilson is a guy who you might not have heard of, but he is responsible for one of the biggest songs, certainly of the last 10 years, which was Adele singing "Someone Like You." Now, we know that was a massive song for her. And it sounded like she kind of knew about it as well, saying that she kind of knew that it was going to be a hit even before it was released. So Justin Schukat of Primary Wave Publishing is thrilled to have him at their publishing company. So he also wrote One and Only, Don't You Remember, and he co-wrote her smash hit single, Someone Like You, which was top 10 hit around the world, #1 in the US, in the UK, in Ireland, in Australia and New Zealand. So massive song that for him. Now, he started off with, if you remember that, Closing Time by a band called Semisonic. Now, Dan Wilson was part of Semisonic. And he went on to sort of write with other people, and he's had huge success with Adele. So good luck to him, and good luck to him with and his future success with Primary Wave. Alright, so that's about it for the music publishing news. Big news going on there. So let's have a bit of fun with the birthdays today. Now, 8th of January seems to be a massive day for musical talent being born. Now, you might not believe this or believe this not, but excuse me, Elvis Presley was born this day. Let's find out exactly when. Yeah, it's 1935. Elvis Presley was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, and he died, of course, 1977. So that was the first big name to be born on this day, the 8th of January. Now, the second big name you may or may not know was David Bowie, who was born a bit later, 1947, who died, funnily enough, not funnily, but weirdly enough, died 2 days after he was born that year. So, on the year of 2016. So, he was in 1947. He was born on during the January the 8th, January the 10th. On 2016, he passed away. And the other weird thing about that is that he also released his album today, 2 days before he died. His last album, which was Dark Star, and it was a huge success. In fact, it was the biggest success that he'd ever had in terms of. On 2016, he released his 25th album, his studio album, which ended up being his final album, Blackstar, which coincided with his 69th birthday. He didn't quite make it to 70 there, and 2 days just before he died. It was his first and only album to reach #1 on the American Billboard charts, and of course, a bit later at the 59th annual Grammy Awards, won the best alternative music album, best engineered album, best recording package, and the title single won the best rock performance and best rock song. The album was also awarded the British Album of the Year at the 2017 Brit Awards. So sometimes it helps being dead. You get a lot more recognition. But that was an amazing album, and very, very emotional. I remember listening to that on the day he died. Really emotional. So that is it for that. And but if you want to know what was #1, actually, let's go into the charts. So #1 20 years ago. Oh, it's terrible year for music. Must have been 2001. "Touch Me" by Rui da Silva featuring Cassandra. Terrible song. The British singer-writer Cassandra Fox. Oh, Samantha Fox. I thought that was "Touch Me" by Samantha Fox. Anyway, and "Destiny's Child" was #1 in the States, which was the part of the soundtrack to Charlie's Angels. That was 20 years ago. But what about 10 years ago? Again, for me, not a big fan of this, but Rihanna was #1 about 10 years ago today. Exactly 10 years ago today. With featuring Drake. I wonder what happened to him. Called it "What's My Name," and in the US it was "Grenade" from the old Bruno Mars there, and that was #1 in the States, and it was #1 weirdly in also New Zealand. So there you go. That is all the juicy music news this week. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to know any of your comments on what I've just told you today, what's been included. I'd love to know what you'd like to know more about or like to hear on News Hack every week. And I'm going to wish you a very happy New Year and stay safe, particularly if you're in the US. Stay safe. I'm sure this will all blow over soon. And yeah, just keep your distance, stay safe, and hopefully things will get back to some kind of normality very soon. Although I don't think normal exists anymore, does it? Anyway, thank you for joining me. Have a prosperous week. See you next week. See you next Friday. And Monday we'll be dropping another video as well. We do 2 videos a week here. Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays and Fridays. And let me know if there's any topics, any subjects you'd like
us to do videos on here. There will be more stuff coming up as we go into the new year, which I'm very excited about. But for now, that is it. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.